Hey MotoAmerica fans, this is Matthew Skoltz. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the MotoAmerica YouTube channel for more coverage and also like or comment.
You've landed on the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. Our third round for 2021 MotoAmerica Superbikes at Road America land right here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin at the famed Road America. Hello everyone, welcome to the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup class. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time champ Jason Pridmore. Now Jason, Junior Cup has been entertaining to say the least, especially with the exit of Rocco Landers going to Supersport.
Yeah, all these kids are really hungry because we're going to get a new champion this year, and we've seen a lot of guys come to the front as we've seen big group battles at the front with 8-9 guys going into corners, and it's been really tight racing.
And the last time we were at the racetrack, it was Cody Wyman who ended up winning this one, his first victory ever in MotoAmerica.
Yep, made a little bit of a mistake, I would say, in day one. Overthinking his process a little bit. He led 3/4 of the lap, ended up finishing just off the podium, but on day two, he re-strategized some of that, and you can see here, Greg, he was able to get a win.
So this class designed for young riders to come on in, or a guy like Cody Wyman. Jason, at 27 years old, he is the veteran of the class.
Absolutely, and he's got two older brothers that we see racing here every weekend, and he's been struggling the last 2 years. This year he started his own thing, jumped on the Kawasaki Ninja 400, and gets that first win out of the way.
Well, our very own Hannah Lopa had a chance to catch up with the number 34, Cody Wyman.
Cody, you secured your career first victory last round at VIR in race 2. How does that affect your confidence heading into Road America this weekend?
Yeah, it was amazing to get the win. It means a lot. It's a long time coming, and you know, just try to keep this confidence rolling. You know, feel a lot more comfortable on this new Kawasaki, and you know, this race is going to be just a dogfight. You know, we know that always here at Road America, and it'll probably be like that for the whole season. So, really, just try to keep fighting. Just the goal is to be on the podium every weekend. We'll try to be consistent and try to get a #1 plate at the end of the year.
Thanks, Cody. Best of luck out there.
So Cody Wyman going for the #1. So is this guy your championship points leader, Ben Glady? What does Glady have for this field in Junior Cup? We can't wait to find out.
Yes, that's the question. You see them saying it's going to be a dogfight. Cody Wyman hoping to make it 2 wins in a row, but they've got to go through Ben Glady to do it. He was in control in qualifying. He's got the points lead. He's got Rocco Landers there. He's part of the Landers racing team, and Rocco giving him some advice because he was out on the racetrack earlier in Supersport. So a lot of things going Glady's direction. It's up to the rest of the field to try to break that momentum.
He hasn't. We'd always come here, and there's always these big packs in Junior Cup, but here with Benjamin Glady being almost a second quicker every session than a lot of these guys, then they're going to find some time. If he can get into turn 5 and be able to get a gap through the infield section where there's no straightaways, he has a chance to get away, but it will be difficult because all these guys with the draft, and he's a kind of a taller kid than everybody else, so he's going to punch a big hole in the air for the guys behind him to get a good draft. And we seen at the last race at VIR on the last lap, 7 or 8 guys going at it that could have won. This race could even be more.
Whoa, that'd be amazing. And what a lot of the riders in the class are trying to figure out now is you're going to get shuffled back, especially with the draft at some point. How far back is too far back? Is it 4th? Is it 6th? What is a manageable gap? I think we've seen Tyler Scott here. You see in the number 70. He's had some races where he got shuffled too far back and then made a big charge on the last lap, but it was too much of a gap to overcome. So a lot of strategy at play here with this pack racing that we expect to see in the draft. And I don't know. They all have plans, right? But it's not going to be possible to execute every plan.
You're really going to need to watch your pit board to count down the laps so you don't get shuffled too far back with only a couple laps to go.
Okay, so we'll see this field here, Kolstedt and Scott and Rodeo and the man on the pole, the 72 of Ben Glady, going to be doing some battle in the draft of the big, wide, fast, and fun Road America.
Welcome back to Road America. Thousands of fans have rolled in to check out SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. Let's take a look at the championship point standings after 4 races so far. It is Ben Glady who leads the way.
Yeah, he's definitely stepped up this year. He got his first win in Atlanta, followed that up at VIR. But Tyler Scott's obviously been strong. Cody, with his win there, bumped himself up into third, and we've seen David Kolstad on the podium as well.
So we look at Benjamin Glotty trying to extend his points lead in our 5th race of the season. And this is what they're up against. Road America on small bikes, one of our fastest high-speed tracks.
Yeah, no question. And there's going to be 10 people in this lead draft. I believe today you're going to see 10, maybe more. If they go down that front straightaway into turn 1, going to be some patience because they're going to have to see where they want to position themselves as they head down into turn 5, especially towards the closing laps. Big passing spot down there, up the hill into 6. Ride that roller coaster all the way to the carousel in turns 9 and 10. Then you're going to head down to Canada Corner, turn 12. Back up the hill towards the run to the start-finish line, turn 14. Do you want to lead or do you want to be following coming out of there? That's going to be the big question in this class.
It is a steep run up a hill to the checkered flag. You've got to time that draft just right. How about this guy? He's only been off the podium one time all season, and it was the last race at VIR. Can he get back on the podium?
Yeah, talking about Tyler Scott there on that KTM, and that's what it was, the shuffle. He had the speed in both races at VIR, but it's playing that strategy game, and we're going to see, I'm assuming, more drafting here than we even did at the last race, right?
And I think for him, he didn't know the laps were winding down and didn't position himself in the right spot. That's why here you have to focus so much with how many laps to go, because you need to start making your move with 2 to 3 laps to go if there's a 10-rider battle, so you're not – it's going to be hard if you're 10th on the last lap to get back to first. So it's going to be a lot of strategy. You'll see a lot of guys when they get in the lead try to break away. But this turn 5 where they're coming up to right now, every single lap, the leader could go back to 5th or 6th every lap.
Well, you said the term 10-rider battle, and it absolutely is possible. That's not even just hype. This could be reality, a 10-rider pack, especially at this track. Oh, rider off track there in turn 5. So they're all going to get a feel for it here. Gus Rodeo's been quick throughout the weekend on that red, with the angry red eyes on the front of his Kawasaki. So Ben Glotty has a little bit of momentum, but in this class, having an edge on the field, it's a very small one. The difference between a 1st and, let's say, a 5th could just be the difference in playing the cards right in the draft. So we expect this to be maybe the best and closest racing of the weekend as these riders head into the carousel for the final time before they head to the grid, and the quick start procedure is gone. So I think we're going to have a little bit extra grid time for these guys to supposedly get ready, more importantly to get nervous for their first race of the weekend in the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup.
Today's STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. And in part by Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance. And Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Welcome back to Road America. Awaiting the start of the STG Junior Cup. Here's the starting grid, Jason. Benjamin Glotty, a 239.8, and 1.1 seconds behind is Tyler Scott.
Yeah, then Gus Rodeo, Maxwell Toth, Blake Davis, Max Van. They're good qualifying from him. Jack Roach, Cody Wyman, Lemandry Jr. is going to be row 3. Then we got Kolstad, Aiden Thau, and Hayden Bickness. Row 5 is going to be Chase Black, Owen Williams, Brady Force. Then we have Avery Dreyer, Ryan Cressup, and Cale Essman. Good field this week. Row 7, Vandal, Ricci, and Drew Vandal. And then we've got Keegan Brown round out there in row 8.
So the grid is set as we are ready to get this Junior Cup race number 1 underway. And Jason, it's been a tale of 5 riders on the podium. Do we get to see another one? This race has all the elements to have that happen. Long straightaways with these SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup bikes could mean a lot of drafting and passing with a lot of riders.
There's going to be a ton of drafting and passing, and these guys are going to get the green light here real quickly, Greg, and really it's going to be that run down into turn 5.
It's time to get race number 1 underway, and away we go. And look at the KTM launch his way out front. Tyler Scott with the lead for the moment, and here's the rest of the field all trying to get in the draft. as these Junior Cups make their way to turn number 1. And Scott, whoa, goodbye, Scott. What a launch.
Yeah, that's an amazing start. And it was really unusual to see the gap that we saw of 1.2 seconds between arguably the biggest rider in the field, Ben Glotty, really using his size to his advantage to just get through the infield sections of this course. And there was a couple things that I saw him doing a little different than the rest that we'll get into when we start talking about the race. But Glotty has closed that right back up as they came out of turn 3. You see he was able to get in the draft of Scott as they come down this back straightaway for the first time. And I think if Glotty can lead them through turn 5, first opening lap, and you can see everybody else now jostling their way to try to get that spot as they go down in here. Who's going to be leading? Scott. Gets the thing all crossed up, and Blake Davis had moved himself into second but runs wide.
That's the first opportunity that a pack of riders in this class had to turn number 5. Different feel on the motorcycles because of that draft and pass maneuver, but Scott just went in there dirt tracking it, and he pulled that one off.
Really feel like the group doesn't want to let Ben Glotty have his way through this opening of the what we would call the infield section. From about turn 5 to the exit of the chicane is a spot that Ben Glotty has been very, very fast, and it looked like everybody had the same idea. Anybody can lead out of turn 5 but Ben Glotty, but now he's back on the back of Scott as they roll down here through the carousel for the first time. Got about 5, 7 guys, maybe 7, that are going to try to all go in that lead group. You see Blake Davis, Gus Rodeo's there, Toth is there.
So Scott is on the 70. He's the orange bike leading the way out of Pennsylvania on the Scott Performance KTM. On the RC 390R, a motorcycle that's won the championship in this class before. In second spot, Benjamin Glotty on the Landers Racing Ninja 400. A draft and pass move as they head towards Canada Corner. And Glotty sits up under braking. He'll take over the lead just ahead of Scott and 22 Blake Davis out of Virginia on the N2 Racing Yamaha R3 right there as well.
Yeah, but now, you know, you got to think that Ben Glotty is going to be kind of a sitting duck here as they come on the front straightaway if these guys all organize themselves just a little bit. But look at the gap he's pulled. Look how good he is at getting through that last corner and opening up that gap. And these guys, if they draft him, it's going to be very late at the end of the straightaway. You can see they're all 4 trying to get in that draft right now. Start-finish line is going to come across right about there, and they're still not past him. So it's going to be very late that Tyler Scott's going to pull out of the draft now and go past before they get into turn 1. He's going to move over on Glotty as they head in there, and Blake Davis was able to come through as well on an R3 on that Yamaha. So you see 5 guys in the lead draft right now. Cody Wyman back there, it looks like, with Max Van. They're also not out of this, G-Dub.
Wow, great racing early on, and 3 manufacturers occupying the top 3 spots. KTM from Yamaha, from Kawasaki. Look at the draft that Glotty's trying to put on the 22. Another long straightaway. Just must feel like forever on these Junior Cup bikes. As 5 riders in the lead group as they peel off into turn number 5, 5 wide. Look at the 58 of Toth trying to find some room to get something done.
Gets himself in there, and he's going to protect himself as his 3rd place as they go up that hill. And but again, Glotty fails to lead through turn 5. He's going to have to follow Tyler Scott down through turn 7 and turn 8. And you can see now Max Van and Cody Wyman are slowly starting to creep themselves back into this. Again, it goes back to Greg, as much as these guys start racing against each other, it really helps other guys that are trying to catch up.
Yeah, and Scott right now doing a great job out front, Hannah.
Yesterday there was some drama for Tyler Scott. He pulled off in turn 5 the way he's used to during CCS races, and they disqualified his times from that whole session for Q1. So Q2 he still managed to pull off a starting position of 2nd. Speaking to him, you know, he wasn't too fazed by it. He said he's really comfortable for the race. He thinks the bike will do well here, and he's done well here in the past in other series. He knows that this draft is going to keep him from breaking away. So his most important goal for today is to just stick with that group and try not to lose them. He really likes sectors 2 and 3 because they're a little slower. He can maintain corner speed, and he thinks it works really well for him in this bike.
That's talking about Tyler Scott, the number 70. CCS, which he's referring to, is, of course, club racing. That's where a lot of racers will cut their teeth before they get to the pro level here in MotoAmerica. And so, of course, they have different procedures for exiting the track here at Road America because it's such a long track. And so Scott with that little bit of a miscue. But he's still leading the way right now over Ben Gloddy, who had such a great run in qualifying, finishing over a second. But Gloddy now has got some competition that is all up the back tail section of him. So Gloddy, can he draft and pass for the lead? He's out there. And boy, Jason, for Ben Gloddy, as a tall rider, he's really able to get good motor on this competition as he peels off into turn number 1. It's going to be the 72 of Ben Gloddy who's going to lead us through it with a Yamaha, a 22 of Blake Davis in second.
Impressive from Blake Davis to put that bike where it's at right now as they come down into turn 3. You're going to see he's going to try his best to now get in that draft. And Ty Scott has gone all the way back to 4th place. So again, these guys don't want to see Gloddy lead him down into turn 5. One interesting fact is a couple laps ago we saw that Gloddy was able to pull such a big gap from Canada corner up to the start finish line. Nobody was able to get by him. But look, here's what happens, Greg. Ty Scott now on the inside. They're all going to try to gang up on Gloddy as they go into 5. Gloddy right now braking fairly well. Let's see if Davis tries to turn it up underneath him. Nope, tries to go up around and Scott's trying to go around the outside of him.
I like Gloddy, though. He had such intent when he turned the bike into turn number 5. It was like, hey, if you were up the inside of him, that's going to be your problem. So Benjamin Gloddy, our championship points leader, his hands full in this one as the group is now gone from 5 to 7.
Let's see if that gap gets bigger now at the front. Let's see if Gloddy with some clear track in front of him could put his head down. You can see Blake Davis has got himself back into 2nd place. But this is the spot that everybody's got to be a little bit cautious of, because if Gloddy can get away, it'll make it tough. And you can see Scott now trying to go back up underneath Davis, not quite able to make it. And all that is kind of doing by these guys racing hard against each other is letting him just start to creep away.
Advantage right now is the 72 of Ben Gloddy with 4.5 laps to go in this one. Can Ben Gloddy hold on? Down towards Canada corner they come. Ben Gloddy.
Nice job of kind of reeling him back in there. And you can see Scott now drafting past Davis. This is going to give these guys a little bit of confidence to see that Gloddy wasn't able to get away from them too much. Let's see what happens now from here on the run up the hill to start finish line.
Boy, I'm looking at Cody Wyman in 6th place right now, our race winner from last time out. And he's been able to make up that gap. And what's he going to be able to do as he chips his way through?
And this is really the difference in what happens at Road America as compared to other tracks. The guy leading right now qualified on pole 2:39.8. Cody Wyman was at 2:42.6. So almost a 3-second difference. Cody probably made some adjustments in talking with his team. But when you get in these drafting wars, this is what can happen. You can find yourself a little bit of time. And now Cody's on the left-hand side of the track doing what he feels he can try to do to get himself a little bit further up. As you can see, they're going to be holding that board up high so Ben Gloddy can see it. And here's that draft. 3, 4 guys now going to be 5 wide possibly as they get down. And Gloddy's going to probably go all the way back to, well, let's see, Greg. He kind of dove himself back in there, 4th place.
Great shots from our Lucas Oil helicopter camera. As you have in this mix, the 22 is Blake Davis. The 34 in 2nd spot is Wyman. This is what we expect. Jason, so far this season, we have only had 5 riders on the podium. 3 of those have won. Ben Gloddy, Tyler Scott, and Cody Wyman. We have a high probability, a high chance that we're going to see a first-time winner in this group if the group can stay packed up all the way to the finish.
It's great having this Lucas Oil helicopter flying above where you can really see what these guys do. Cody Wyman did have the lead. Ty Scott gets backing it in there at the bottom of the hill in turn 5. It might hurt his drive just a little bit, but not enough to allow Wyman to go back up underneath him. But Cody Wyman had a sniff, had that lead as they drafted down that back straightaway. Davis now is there in 3rd. Gloddy 4th. Rodeo's still hanging on. As you can see, Max Toth is there as well as Max Van.
And I'm really impressed with Blake Davis. You know, MotoAmerica wanted to even the competitive balance between different manufacturers. So Yamaha was given some allowances, one of which being a 2mm overboard, the other being a GYTR kit to make changes to cams and pistons with stock displacement. Today, I talked to Davis's crew chief, Shiloh Salopek, and they've been working on these engine configurations. He is running that 2mm overbore, and he wasn't quite sure if he was liking it so much, but it seems to be paying off for them right now.
Yeah, it definitely does, Hannah, and that's why we're seeing this Yamaha in the mix with the KTM and Kawasaki's. Last year we saw just a real Kawasaki domination. So it's nice to see MotoAmerica making competitive balance a priority, and look at what we're getting right now as Tyler Scott back to the lead, then Cody Wyman and the 22 of Blake Davis, who we're talking about on that Yamaha. Max Toth on the 48.
Oh. Ben just got closed out just a little bit there, and he was off to the left. So, you know, when you see a guy, as competitors, when you see a guy that has as big of an advantage as Glady had, you kind of think to yourself, we can't let this guy just have his own way and get away from things. That said, Ben Glady's a tough young man. He's going to be able to take all this that he's getting right now, and he'll give it back as easy as he's getting it right now. And now we should maybe see the 72 and the 68 there, or 58 rather, of Maxwell Toth. Those guys are in good drafting spots now to maybe get up alongside of some of these other guys as they come down the front straightaway and put themselves in better spots. Look at this, Greg.
3 laps to go in this one on the front straightaway to turn number 1, and riders are all over the place trying to find some real estate. Who's going to take the point and lead this one with just a couple to go? Tyler Scott's been relegated to 3rd spot. Is he going to hold on to that long? It's the 22 who has the position for the moment. Scott will work his way into 2nd, and Ben Glady in the mix as well. Cody Wyman shuffled back to 6th spot. This is the kind of race action we love to see in the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup, and people getting swallowed up on straightaways all over the place. Well, that looked like a missed gear or something.
Unreal, yeah. I mean, no, it's when you get 3, 4, 5 guys working together that can draft by somebody, it does look like the person they're going by is literally putting the brakes on. You see Max Toth now on the inside there. Scott doing his normal thing to try to keep up there. And look who's back at the front. Benjamin Glady. Now he's going to try to really put his head down. I believe this lap, Greg, Glady's going to do everything he can to snap a gap before they come out of that chicane. Let's see if he's able to do that.
Well, you can just see the size of Glady, a very fit young man, but in terms of his competitors, Glady pushing a lot of air. He's trying, but Scott's not letting him get anywhere. Jason, with 2.5 laps to go in this one, and you are mixed in this field, where do you want to be on the last lap?
Well, I don't think where Cody Wyman's at is such a bad place right now. If Max Van can get himself just a little closer to these guys, they're going to be in a good spot, because when they come and get the 2-lap flag, you know, you're going to see all these guys drafting back past. Scott goes up underneath Glady, so they're going to have, you know, there's nothing in it with these guys. Glady can't get away in the infield section, which makes it hard, and so he's going to have to come up with a little bit of a different strategy. We know he's good from the Canada corner to the run up the hill, but all these guys are going to have seen it, learned it, seen what's going on. You can see he's going to draft up underneath here.
So side by side they go towards Canada corner. Benjamin Glady, Landers Racing, will take over the spot from Tyler Scott, the number 70 on that Scott Power Sports KTM. And how about Maxwell Toth on the Veloce Racing Kawasaki in 3rd spot? Right part of your screen is live action. And this pass, one of the many we've seen in this race, Jay.
Yeah, he was able to just kind of sneak up the inside there as they rolled into the chicane, and then Glady was able to draft back past on the run down to Canada corner. Now, if history repeats itself, Glady's probably going to be 4th or 5th when they go into turn 1 this time, because all 4 or 5 of these riders behind are going to get close to being able to draft past the 72. And you can see 2 guys have already pulled out. Where's the rest of them coming? Look at the draft Cody Wyman's getting from like 5th back. Now we're 5 wide going into turn 1, and that's what I mean. You know, if you're back there in 6th coming down the front straightaway, I think that this lap by the going through on the last lap, it's not a bad spot to be.
Yeah, that was a slingshot. Yeah. Cody Wyman was 6th place, and he goes right to the lead. And how about Toth on the 58 going for it as well? He'll pass in turn 3 and take over the lead.
And this straightaway they're going on to now is going to give them that same effect. The difference is this is a little bit shorter straightaway than the front straightaway. So again, you can see the guys back here in 4th. They're going to start to draft and kind of get themselves together. Cody Wyman moves himself all the way over to the left as he heads down this hill, which is now going to make it to where if these guys want to go by, they got to go by on the right. Let's see if anybody positions themselves underneath Cody Wyman. They're trying to. Blake Davis is trying to as well. Cody Wyman's going to lead him into turn 5. That's going to be a confidence boost for the number 34 that he led all the way down that back straightaway. Now it's his turn to try to see if he can break this group up at all.
And all the while, Jason, up in the mix is the number 96 of Gus Rodeo. We haven't spoken much about Gus, the Rodeo Racing red machine, red and white Kawasaki Ninja. He's kind of in that position right now. You can see him in 6th spot. And he's the one with the motorcycle with the eyeballs staring at you. Early race leader Tyler Scott in 4th spot, trying for another position up the inside through the carousel on Glotty. He'll get that one handled. And this is any rider's ball game at this point. And look at Wyman. He's trying to pull the pin through the carousel. Little bit of contact.
Blake just rode around the outside of him. He literally just rode around the outside of him. The Yamaha works extremely well on the exit of the chicane, and the 22 just rolled around the outside of Cody Wyman. Almost probably surprised him a little bit.
N2 Racing's Blake Davis takes the lead. He's got his head down. As we head towards the last lap, a lead change again. Jason, left part of your screen.
Yeah, Cody just started to straighten the bike up, right? I don't think he knew that Blake Davis had a head of steam on him as he was rolling around the outside of him, and they just made some subtle contact. Now we're going to see Ty Scott probably outbroke Cody down there into Canada Corner. This is going to be the spot now where do you want to be? I mean, look at Ben Glotty doing everything he can to stay in 3rd, but there goes Blake Davis underneath him. Those 2 guys are going to come out of here side by side. That could help the front 2 runners, especially if Cody Wyman can get this draft and get past Scott. Max Toth moves out. Gus Rodeo's in a good spot. And all the while, Max, man, has just been kind of keeping quiet back there, but this is his spot now to be able to draft past all of them.
White flag final lap. Boy, coming out of that last turn, Jason, Ben Glotty was hung out to dry. He was nowhere near a draft, and now he's in the back of this pack.
Wow. What? Cody broke really early there, it looked like, didn't it?
Either that or else Scott broke really late.
Yeah.
Either one. It looked like Cody maybe a little bit early. So Scott with the lead, trying to make a break. Looking at where our pole position sitter was, Glotty in 5th position. That's pretty good. It's a good spot for him. Lucas Oil, helicopter cam, showing us these gaps and the accordion effect. Heading down to turn 5, you can see the draft. Gus Rodeo trying to find some room. He's in 3rd, kind of, as they head down into turn number 5. Who's going to have it on the brakes? Scott's been really good down here, so Rodeo moves himself into 2nd spot. You can hear him, motorcycles bouncing off of rev limiters coming up the hill underneath the Corvette bridge. Oh boy, Scott's pulling the pin. He's trying, but we've seen the 22 of Blake Davis through the carousel. Super fast.
Yeah, but look how good Rodeo went through there, too. Really impressed with Gus Rodeo's speed through turn 7 as he's done everything he can to draw himself back up on the back of that KTM, the lone KTM in the field. You can see Wyman, Glotty, everybody else doing what they can to stay. Now, Ty Scott's been really fast down through this little section. You can see these guys doing their best to hang out. What about Blake Davis? Last time he rode around the outside of Cody Wyman here, he's not close enough to anybody to really do anything as they come down into this chicane. Tyler Scott is trying to make this a little bit of a break, and yeah, he's got a little bit of a gap, doesn't he?
He certainly does. Don't worry about it. Get on the edge of your seat. It can handle it. What's going to happen here in the last couple corners of SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup as Ty Scott, the number 70 on the Scott Power Sports KTM, has really put a stamp on this one. The battle seems to be for 2nd spot unless these riders can reel him in on this short straightaway down to Canada Corner. Not much made between it, but Glotty takes over 2nd spot. I'm not sure that's where he wants to be in this one, but he's trying to reel Scott in. Benjamin Glotty, the 72, in 2nd place. Up the top of the hill, final corner awaits Scott. Head down on the brakes. It's that long drag race to the checkered flag. It awaits Scott. He's deep in the tuck. Benjamin Glotty trying to sniff a draft. I don't think he's got it. It's still quite a ways away to the checkered flag. Scott, head down to the line. Will take the checkered flag in victory. 2nd place goes to Cody Wyman. 3rd place to Benjamin Glotty.
How close is that? What a tremendous effort by this young man. Number 70, Tyler Scott, gets his 2nd win of the year. And Cody Wyman sneaks through to just nip past points leader Benjamin Glotty at the line for 2nd spot.
And Ben Glotty, 9,000ths of a second ahead of Blake Davis. Blake Davis so close to that podium. Gus Rodeo in 5th, Max Toth in 6th, and Max Van in 7th place. Hayden Bickney's in 8th, Aiden Tao 9th. Good top 10 finish for Aiden, with David Kolstad just ahead of Lemandry Jr. Owen Williams in Owen's debut race, turned 14 a couple of hours ago practically, making his debut. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, more from Road America as Junior Cup race number 1 just wrapped up.
Well, we saw the drafting battles that we expected, but well done, young man, to Tyler Scott, because when it counted, he got far enough away where they could not draft back by him, and he ends up with his second win of the year.
He played that last lap perfect, you know, just when he tried to get away. You can see all the sector times on the last lap. All his are purple. He saved his best for last and did what he had to do. Didn't leave it up for the draft, and that's what you have to do in this class. If you were leading out that last corner, you weren't going to win that race.
All right, we'll show you from above. This is turn 5. All sorts of shuffling behind the KTM rider. Cody Wyman making a bid for it down to the inside. We thought it might be 5 wide into turn 5. It was. But Scott is just able to hold on, and from there his goal was to try to get far enough away where they couldn't get back by him.
And just slowly through there's no straightaways for a while for these guys to draft back up, and you just, through this infield section, just slowly kept pulling away and got not enough of a gap where they couldn't get in his draft headed into Canada corner.
And another key is the points, because Ben Glotty came in as your series leader. It is Scott and also Wyman that are trying to make up ground on him, so they were desperate to beat him to the finish in this race. They were able to get it done. Now into the carousel. And you can see Scott just edging away enough. They had one last shot to close in, and then they all started battling. You got Blake Davis in this group, as well as Rodeo. And then we mentioned Wyman and Glotty as well. And while they battled each other, Scott had the head down through the chicane. And that's just too much distance from the draft.
And also this next corner that they're going to come up to, Canada corner, you can see all of them, you know, second, third, fourth, fifth, all fanning out. And that way when they go into the brakes for Canada corner here, they kind of slow each other up a little bit.
So then the battle shifted for the fight for second, because Scott had enough of a gap. Could Wyman maybe shove Glotty behind him and make up some points? Could Blake Davis claim his first ever podium? Here we are into the final stretch, the uphill. You can see the big lead for the leader. They're not going to be able to draft by him. And then it's on for the number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots. And here comes the draft for that entire 5-rider pack for the number 2 spot.
And you can see Wyman, he just got a perfect draft and pulled out right at the right time. As soon as it got close to him, he pulled out.
Bam.
And that's how you got a draft.
And that is key, because that is Wyman pushing Glotty from second to third, so they make up some ground on your series leader. If you're Tyler Scott, second win of the year, and the points leader finishes third, going to make up some distance in the standings and make this SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup class that much closer. The Wyman group is happy. His brother's over there congratulating him.
Also, Cody, at the beginning of the race, was a little bit back.
Yeah.
He was about a second and a half, almost 2 seconds back, and had to work by himself to catch this group.
And tough one for Ben Glotty. At one point, he got into the lead at turn 5, which is what they did not want to see, because he had the pace in qualifying, it seemed, to pull away. But they kept him in touch and then drafted back by him, and he was never able to get clear racetrack after that again. They boxed him in enough, and he wasn't able to use that speed that he had in qualifying. That ends up with a third-place finish for the Landers Racing Ride. And there it is, Tyler Scott, a new entrant into MotoAmerica this year. Spent a couple of years racing in Europe. Won the very first race right out of the box in 2021. He's been consistent since, but hadn't gotten back to the center of the podium until right now. And going to make a race fit for the championship at Glotty this year for sure. That was fun. We knew the draft would be making things interesting, and it did not let us down. And Wyman's on a little roll here. He's got a first and a second of the last 2 races, so he's really come into his own since jumping into this Junior Cup Championship. But there's Tyler Scott. His crew was telling me at the last race in Virginia, one of the keys, he focuses on the aerodynamics all the way through the corner. Doesn't hang over the bike more than he needs to. With the small displacement and less power, that is absolutely key. And he was able to make it happen the second half of the final lap. Inched away and got out of draft zone.
He did what you had to do. As soon as he knew, if you're leading out of turn 5, your plan has to be to get away, because that's your only option. If they're all bunched up out of the last corner, he's going to get drafted by a couple guys, maybe not even get on the podium. Once you come out of turn 5, if you're in the lead, your plan has to be to put your head down, try to check out and break the draft.
and we saw it. He had the best time in sectors 2 and 3, and that was the difference for Tyler Scott to get away and win by what would be considered a huge margin at a track like this and a class like this. 0.520, the final margin of victory over Cody Wyman, Ben Glotty, Blake Davis, Gus Rodeo, and Max Toth. Those 6 riders were in a battle the entire way, and it could have gone anyone's direction, but it went to Tyler Scott, and that's why that orange KTM there is in the center of the box. Blake Davis, by the way, that's a good run for him. He was in the fight the entire time.
Great ride by him. That's his first top 5, and he's going to learn so much from. That was his first actual race, battling it with the guys in the front, leading, and he'll learn from that. And just, he was so good on the brakes, getting into every corner. He was making a lot of passes, 5th to 2nd, and looked like he was losing a little bit right out of the corners on the straightaway, but he rode great. And then also a couple other guys. Max Van rode a great race as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Max Van was in there, and Toth, as we mentioned. So that's kind of what you expect in Sport Bike Track Gear Junior Cup. But as far as the points are concerned, it's still, I believe, in the domain of the Landers Racing rider who finished 3rd today. But it wasn't enough to win the race. He had that pace in qualifying and tried to make the break for it at one point, but the draft allowed the field to stay with him, and then they got by. And that's a really fun class to watch when you throw the draft in with 3 big straightaways and some great young talent. So that's our coverage here. During the break, we will get down and talk to our riders on the podium here at MotoAmerica.
Today's Junior Cup race coverage has been sponsored by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at this photo finish. Jason, it was Cody Wyman who pulls out, just got it. So close for Wyman, and that is how close it was to get 2nd and 3rd and 4th place.
But it's something that we see every weekend in this class. You'll get a really good look at it here, how close that was between Cody Wyman and Glotty was. Let's get down to Hannah.
Guys, so far this season, out of 5 Sport Bike Track Gear Junior Cup races, we've seen 4 different winners, this marking the 2nd victory for Tyler Scott. Tyler, you managed to get out front on the last lap there and start to pull away. What gave you the confidence to do that?
Yeah, first of all, happy birthday to my mom, support me from home. And big thanks to KTM, Arai Helmets, Bob Robbins, the Muffin Man, and the whole team getting a wonderful bike ready. But the race, I tried to get out front and keep my position.
Do you think you can duplicate these results tomorrow based on what you were able to learn in today's race?
We're hoping to duplicate it tomorrow, but it's definitely going to be hard because there's so many riders so close, but it was a good race.
Congratulations on his 2nd victory this season, Tyler Scott.
That's good. It's the biggest smile I've seen out of Scott so far.
That was really good, and he's, you know, what's funny about us doing these shows is we see these guys mature on camera, and we see them get better with their interviews and all that. Really tremendous job today, though, by the number 70 of Tyler Scott, winning his 2nd race of the season.
All right, let's get right back down to Hannah.
Well, Greg, Cody Wyman is making it a habit of being on the podium this season and finishing in 2nd place today. You caught Glotty right at the line. Take us through those last few corners.
Last couple laps, you know, first I was just happy that those riders came back to me and I was able to be in that lead group. But yeah, really happy. I thought I was in a great spot with that other rider in between me and the leader, but just didn't turn out. I'm really happy that we were able to put this bike in the podium. We had a mechanical this morning, so big hats off to my whole team, Kermoto, Madden Painting, Arai Helmets, K-Tech, We're Everywhere Racing, Quarterly Racing, Harpside Davidson, my whole family. You know, my dad was rebuilding the bike, so it means a lot to get on the podium. Let's keep this going.
Congrats to 2nd place, Cody Wyman.
Yeah, and a good run and for Cody, and he put himself in the perfect position to get himself in 2nd after Scott pulled a pin.
No question, and he got himself back from a little bit far back. Him and Max Van kind of got themselves pulling forward to get on the back end of that lead group, and then they were able to kind of work their way through it.
Let's get down to Hannah.
3rd place today goes to Benjamin Glotty. And Ben, when we spoke earlier, you said you felt you had the bike and you had the pace to win this race. Are you happy with this result, despite the good points?
I mean, no, I'm not happy with the result. I want to be on that top step, but, you know, these guys, they kind of had, like, that feeling. You know, I qualified a little bit ahead of them. You know, they were passing me as much as they could, trying to keep me further back in that group. And you know, I couldn't break away. I tried a couple times and I just wasn't able to do it. But I want to be able to do it with the whole CJR Performance, Landers Racing crew, Fast by Faraci, Dunlop, Arai Helmets, American Super Camp, Penguin Racing School, everybody else that helps me out, Mom, Dad, thank you guys.
Congratulations, Benjamin Glady, guys.
It's about as down as you'll see Ben be. I mean, he's usually pretty upbeat, and you know, I think when you out-qualify everybody by so much, you start thinking to yourself, I can get out front, I can run away, I'm going to see +4 on my board at some point, and it just didn't work out. And this class is so hard to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's got to look forward to tomorrow because he's going to have to do this all again. But hopefully he's learned some of the tendencies of the riders that are going to be up in the mix. And with the way things work out in this class, we might see more participation at the front. 7 riders, is that enough? Your championship points have closed up between first and second. Tyler Scott, with that win, is now only 7 points behind Ben Glady. Cody Wyman in third at 21. And then the gap back down to Rodeo and Kolstad and Max Van, all fighting it out for a higher position in this championship point standings. Well, that'll do it for race number 1. Race number 2 coming up. It's going to be as exciting. For Handle Open, Jason Primer, I'm Greg White. See you soon.